Once more with feeling.
And we're live. So everybody behave. Hello everybody and welcome to 9 to 5 stream. And my name is Simeon and I'm the player experience specialist for 9 to 5. And tonight we're going to talk about our third upcoming map, the clinic. And I'm not alone. And with me in the studio I have Scott and Safir, and they are environment artists for 9 to 5. And then via the internet we have Martin, who is the lead environment artist for 9 to 5 as well. There he is.
Oh, there he is. G'day, Martin.
Hello. Hello. I'm inside the internet.
You are the internet.
You're the best part
Yes,
of it.
you're all encompassing.
Yeah, anyway. So tonight, as I said, we're going to talk about the Huxwell Clinic. It's our third map,
Yes.
and it will be coming sooner rather than later. So we have it's scheduled for the update in the May. But today we want to talk about how it was developed and what we want to say when developing the map. And but first, though, we're going to talk about our older maps first, just to explain how is the first the two maps are different from the new one, and just explain how we design maps in general. And we shall start with Old New York. It's our first map. It's how a lot of people were introduced 9 to 5. And to talk about New York, I would like to ask Martin just to mention a few words about what the map is.
Yeah, sure. So, well, I mean, we started working on that map like in the super early stages of making the game. So we decided that we wanted a map that would be quite large, so that we would be able to have plenty of different objective locations. And that it would be like an urban environment, and it would be designed like a little playground or something like that, so that there would be many ways to go from A to B to C to D, etc., etc. So we wanted to have many different objective locations, so that every time you play a match, then you'd go to a different locations, etc. So it's like an urban map. It's quite large and it's quite dense. We decided we wanted to make like a large map so that there would be a lot of opportunities for replayability. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So it's a map that's quite big. It's very dense. It's urban. It has a lot of verticality. It has quite many locations, and quite plenty of locations to get shot from or to ambush people. The idea was to, well, when I was making the map in the early days, the idea was that you wouldn't really want to design it like you would for a first-person shooter. It was more like you would design a space that can accommodate for many things, and then you would see what happens. Because at the time when we started working on the map, then we didn't have all the elements of the actual game. Like, we're still developing it as we go. So we just played a lot on that map and just changing things like all the time. And that's pretty much what we ended up with.
Yeah, thank you, Martin. So yeah, as you said, that New York is very much like a city block, and it's a bit chaotic. So there's not a clear directions or like paths for the players, and the objectives can be located in many different areas. So there can be a larger buildings like the water processor, which has like a big indoor environment, and then it can be outside on the rooftops or even in the sewers. And,
yeah, we wanted to have quite a we wanted to have quite a big variety of environments.
Yeah, and what can you say about like sort of the setting of the map? Because it seems that New York has suffered some damage.
Oh yeah, yeah. Initially, We wanted. Well, we knew that the game would be set in the like close future, like not that far from now. So we started to look into climate change and stuff like that, and we were looking at maps of like, well, we knew that we wanted like to do a map in New York, and we started looking different districts, different areas of New York, and then we decided that it's got to be like this kind of size. So we looked around to find like a suitable area for references and stuff. Then we decided that, well, I think at some point we stumbled upon a map where it was showing the like a map of the area of New York, like, but it was designed in a way that you would raise the water level by a couple meters. And we decided to, since we were looking into climate change and stuff like that, we're like, well, what if the water level would rise quite a lot, and then the city would be flooded, partially at least, so that the authority at the time would decide to build like giant flood walls, etc., etc. And obviously then we would be like, okay, so maybe now it would be too expensive to build it around the whole city, so the island of Manhattan would be the one that would be well protected with flood walls, and the other districts of New York would be partially flooded. This particular area has some flood walls as well. We were thinking that maybe, you know, it's like when the water levels start rising, then they could just have built those, but then they anticipated poorly, and they decided that, you know, it would be too costly to raise them or to build more to protect all the areas. So just kind of ditched this area, and now it ended up as a slum. So that's pretty much the idea.
I see. Well, thank you. So, yeah, so this map was based like on actual place in the world, on New York, on actually like a specific block in Brooklyn, if I believe. But yeah, it was quite large. But then we moved on to the second map, which was the Warmstadt Labs, and that map is actually a lot different from the one of New York. So let's say a couple of words of Warmstadt. Safir, would you mind?
So like unlike the first map, the Warmstadt is a smaller map as compared to, it's quite smaller than the first map that we have in the game, and we found a different location. So it is like remote desert which is nearly destroyed by the drought, and it has like handful of building, unlike the our first map. It has the major two buildings. One is manor and the other one is food lab, and there are few smaller buildings. So the map is kind of made in a way that most of the action is going to happen indoors or some condensed, you know, outdoor areas. And it is a map where, you know, you will have a very fast action gameplay in this map. So yeah, it is a bit smaller and very, you know, gameplay wise it's very fast as compared to our first map, Old New York.
Yeah, that's certainly true. And so Warmstadt has just everything resolves around this old manor, and
Yes,
but it is also quite not in the best condition, I would say. That
Yeah.
the drought has really took a toll on Warmstadt, and yeah, as Safir just mentioned, that it's a bit more straightforward map. So there is not many objective locations around it, and it's considerably smaller than New York. And then there comes the third one.
The third one, yes.
The one that we're going to talk about now, actually, which is the
Huxwell Clinic.
Huxwell Clinic.
Yes. And I've got a blank screen in front of me, but yeah. A little bit about Huxwell Clinic. The whole idea behind it was to provide a bit of contrast with the two preceding maps. So we wanted something that was new, that was modern, that was clean, that had a combination of open spaces and confined spaces, that was done in a different setting, and that's it. Yeah, in a nutshell.
Yeah. So I guess we wanted to take all the best parts from the first two maps.
Yeah.
Just so that it would be. It's also a larger map. Like, is it bigger in New York, or is it about the same size?
It's kind of the same size, but then you've got, I guess, big interior areas as well to go and explore. So you've got a combination of outdoors and indoors. Some of the interior levels are quite large. You've got a bit of mid-verticality thrown in there as well, so it's not quite as vertical as old New York. You've got a juxtaposition of the natural environment and clean modern architecture. So yeah, we've got those points of contrast going in there.
That's an excellent point, yes. But before we actually go into details and show you everything there is to see about the clinic, maybe we can walk through a bit of a development process that we had. Like how was it initially designed, and like was it always going to be a clinic, or was there thoughts of making, I don't know, an amusement park or anything else like that?
I don't know.
There was never a thought about an amusement park, unfortunately.
No, bummer.
Yeah.
You can only hope. Yeah. So from the very beginning, it was designed to be a clinic, I guess.
Yes. I think the idea was that we wanted to have, as Scott mentioned, like a bit more like a new environment. Because we had, like, our two previous maps were pretty run down, and we were like, well, just for sake of contrast, like having like a little bit of something a bit more new, so that there is not only abandoned locations and stuff like that. Then we wanted like a strong nature feel to it, and we had this idea of like a clinic for the super wealthy people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we will see that all the architecture bits very soon. But like, let's see this beautiful image of white boxes. So this is like one of the earliest images that I could find of the clinic. And maybe Martin, what happens like when you open just a new level or project in Unreal, and like where do you start? Like, can you just
well, you should just draw boxes. Well, the idea is like it's got to be a clinic, right? So for super wealthy people, like in a retired countryside environment. So we just kind of figured out, okay, so we need like this kind of building, this kind of building, this kind of building. Then you start putting them together, and they're just basically boxes. Like this is actually like maybe a month into it or something, whatever. But it was basically like, you just make boxes, and then you look how they interact together. Then you draw a bunch of roads and a bunch of paths, and you mostly look at like top-down views and how they kind of interact with each other. And like Tony was working on that mostly on his own. Tony is our level designer. Unfortunately, he's not here today. So he was mostly working on his own on that one. I think we were busy finishing Darmstadt at the time, and he was kind of working on that one on his own. So yeah, you just make buildings, and then they're just boxes basically, and then you just take them one by one, and you go like, all right, so this one is gonna be this one is gonna be that, and then you start detailing them in and adding floors and very, very, very simple shapes, like as you can see here, like a bunch of windows, a bunch of doors, and then you start playing, and then you see what happens.
This is where the magic happens, isn't it? But it is like, you work in game development long enough, and everything will start out as a grey box.
Yeah, because I mean, like you can spend like months doing that, but it doesn't matter so much if you don't test it, because ultimately it's going to be played.
Yeah.
So unfortunately at that time, I remember we were super busy, so we had to delay the play tests for that map for quite a bit. So then we just so
you shouldn't say that.
No, I mean, it's just that the playtest was delayed, and then we just kind of wanted like a bigger map compared to Darmstadt, and then we started to have more time, and then we just started to have also more people in the office. So that means that it's easier to test stuff, because instead of having 9 people playing a match, then you can have 3-4 matches in a row, or sorry, 3-4 matches that run in parallel, and you have more people to test it. So So less time, but more efficiently because we have more people. That's
Yeah, and,
basically it.
We have a bit more slides here where you can see that there are some changes coming in with even like the buildings already at this point. So like some buildings get a bit of a different rooftops and different layouts, and it's all based on the playtesting. And also like some buildings were completely changed several times, even like for example the exhibition, which was the first was the magic house, and then
Temple, magic house,
Yes.
different names.
Yeah, different names, different layouts.
Yeah, there was
Yeah.
this big thing also because we wanted to have the environment quite open and natural. So there was a lot of concerns with the line of sights because we wanted to have roofs that people can go and snipe from. But then we were like, yeah, but we don't want to make it too powerful either. So blocking line of sights with hills, vegetation, stuff like that, blocking some roofs. So the roofs actually changed quite a bit because nobody was 100% agreeing on what to do with the roofs. Like we wanted to have sniping spots, but we didn't want to have it too strong either.
yeah.
I think the roofs changed quite a lot.
Yeah, we will actually a bit later walk through like a few of the most important buildings, and there it would be very clear to see how were they changed based on the playtests and when trying to fight the two overpowered camping positions and just give people on the ground chances to actually fight snipers on the roofs. And
it's
yeah,
so hard to balance snipers because some people are shit at sniping. So if you have them in the playtest, then sniping is not a problem. Then you have really good people that are really good at sniping, and then suddenly it becomes a problem. So it's very tricky.
Yeah, there's a particular game designer's name, isn't there, whose name shouldn't be mentioned for finding overpowered locations on maps and exploiting them to their full potential.
yeah, certainly.
But then again,
But,
like
yeah.
you test so much and you have so many people testing that like an OP spot doesn't stay OP for very long, or doesn't stay secret
Yeah.
for very long.
Yeah, actually, people are commenting about that when you see this overview shots that you can see so many rooftops here, but yeah, not all of them are accessible, and
Yes.
not all of them are actually provide you any good vantage points.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Like, yes, there is quite a bit of rooftops, but not all of them you can go. Not all of them have a 360 view. Not all of them have a consistent line of sight on all the areas. And also you have trees, you have terrain, stuff like that. So.
Yeah, it looks way different when you're on the ground and you can actually you see
Yeah.
the rock formations and everything.
Yeah.
So, it's,
And also we made it so that when you look up a building, you can see a sniper very easily because he has a clear blue sky behind him. So it's not that easy.
yeah, so they're also vulnerable. That's very
Yeah.
good. And actually, at which point does environment art come in when designing a level? Like, when do you start to add this flavor to everything?
It depends quite a bit, actually.
Because I have this
Usually, I would
image.
say,
Yeah.
yeah. So, for instance, this is made by our level designer Tony. So this is mostly built with modules, and then comes the environment artist trying to make sense out of that shit.
So I think this is still a level design work here, right?
Yeah, definitely. It's not finished art.
Yeah, yeah. But yes, as we mentioned, that a lot of the map design is based on the play testing, and it changes drastically depending on the player feedback and depending on like objectives that we have. And so every map should follow certain rules because of our gameplay, like because we have 3 teams and each of them has three players. So the design of the locations should adjust to that. So there has to be multiple entries, like to the buildings and everything like that. So that what goes into designing that map. But then we actually had a public playtest for this map already back in September. And back in the day, it would look like this. So it's a bit more like pleasant to the eye, so it doesn't make you.
The
Well,
first,
that's the
first pass.
that's yeah, first pass. Yes, that's
This
the
is
first art pass.
the first art pass when the clinic would actually start looking more like a clinic, I think. Well, actually a bit different order, but then we have this. It's also after the
It's beautiful.
early stages. It's very
Ship it.
beautiful, and you can see that there are some cars from New York made their way to this clinic.
Yeah,
But
we
actually,
needed extra line
yeah.
of sight blockers.
Yeah, absolutely. But now that after the test that we had in September, we spent quite a bit of time on polishing the map, and I know that there has been changes in level design as well. So some of the paths were blocked and opened and reopened and whatnot, and
Yep.
also that a lot of the art has changed. So maybe let's actually see the clinic now, maybe. Drum roll.
Oh, there you go.
Yes, there we go. So yeah, so now we can talk a bit about what clinic is nowadays. So it is based on the story of the game. This is a state-of-the-art clinic for the wealthiest people in the world. It's in the remote forest location, and it is not racked down as other locations. So it seems that it's still functioning and it's still operating, even though there is no staff there or anything, just for the purpose of the game. But yeah, it doesn't. It looks like it's just working. You can just move in nowadays and just stay there and fix your health a bit.
That's right. At all
And,
the glorious facilities that exist within the Huxwell Clinic.
Yes, exactly. And let's talk about what makes clinic a clinic actually. So, is it hospital beds or equipment?
It's a combination of architecture and the buildings that exist within the facility itself. And so, you have a bunch of props which signal that, and a bunch of architecture which, I guess, signals to the player that it is a clinic.
Mm-hmm.
So you see hospital beds, you see particular architectural features that you would see in hospitals and medical facilities. And that's how you start making a clinic. You get a
Yes.
whole bunch of reference images, and you start putting these things together within an environment to convey to the player that this is an actual place. So we have boardrooms, as you can see.
Yeah, and there is a number of different locations on this map, and each of them has a different purpose. So therefore, it has different interiors and different layouts and complexity of the buildings. And when we design these maps, how much assets do you reuse, or how much new props and
I think most of the props are new in this map. We haven't used anything. I hardly, maybe 2% or 3%, I guess.
Yeah, from other stuff we reuse like kits, mostly like AC units, vents, but that's pretty much it. Like all the generic stuff, but then all the rest is obviously very different because it's new. It's quite different. Like like Saphir said, probably. So for instance, on this screenshot, you can see the AC units, but we have made like a new texture set for them. So yeah, some stuff we do reuse, but we've had to make new stuff for that specific level. Like materials, we can keep some of them, like some of the generic stuff, like railings.
And even the furniture, so all the furnitures, we made it a different one for this map.
Okay, nice. And
new materials as well. A lot of new materials, right?
Yeah, I mean this map itself has a very different, material style. So it is like cotton and very, metal plates and everything. So we need to make all the new materials for this.
Yeah. Oh, sure. And one of the features. Yeah, sorry, Martin, you want to say something?
No, just it's like a large map, so there is quite a lot of stuff to add, and there is not much. Like when you of course, I'm all 100% for reusing stuff, but there is just cases where you can't.
Yeah. I wonder if
Boxes.
any of those boxes,
Boxes,
has been
yes,
used in
boxes.
our-
They're a feature in all games.
Those we have certainly reused.
Yes. Yes.
Most certainly.
Yeah. There's the odd barrel, isn't there, as well?
I
Just
don't
one.
think.
Oh, really? Okay.
I don't think we have barrels in there.
No.
Maybe in
maybe
the maintenance underground thingy. Maybe there's a couple. Maybe.
Oh, okay.
But yeah. Oh, those we have reused.
Yeah, those machines. Yes, I remember.
Yeah. We made like a kit,
Yeah.
and of course the vents. Yeah.
But yeah. Sorry for this. It was like a question that I wanted to, like a bit, be pain in your butts. But yeah, another I guess important thing to mention about the clinic is that is the nature and the environment of it. So it is completely different from what we had in New York. So this has a lot of forestry and rocks and a lake, and it's
Yes.
it's very beautiful. I can say.
Well, it's for rich people, so it has to
And
be.
they like, yeah. They're not into ugly.
Certainly,
Nah.
that is true. I mean, it could use a bit more gold, I think.
Yeah, there's not enough bling.
Yeah, not enough blink for some people. And yeah, there is some futuristic elements. As you can see, these cars on the parking lot, because it's the game is still set in the near future, so there has to be some a bit unusual for our current present day eye and things.
Yes. Yep, that's correct.
Yeah, and well, let's actually go into a bit more detail about some of the buildings and locations on the map. Like, there are quite a few. As you can see on this overview photo, there is, you can here see in the bottom right corner, it is the research building. It's like the second biggest building, and like a bit more on the top right is the biggest main hospital area, and in front of it, it's an admin building, I believe. No, sorry,
the
this
admin
the
is
spa,
far
and
on the
admin
left.
is
Yeah.
far on the
Yeah,
left,
that's the
yes.
spa.
And we're gonna see some of that. So as I mentioned, we have, this is the map of the clinic. So there are, I divided them into three different types of buildings. So there are residential buildings as the cabins on the north. Not all of them are accessible. I think only one is actually open, so you can enter it. Then there is administrative building, so and like the main hospital, and the research facility and the admin on the north, with like the sky bridge coming out of it and connecting to the spa. And then there is the recreational facilities, the spa in the middle of the map, and then the exhibition, which might change its name as well in the final version.
Yes, it
Because-
may, yeah.
Yeah, it has changed it several times already.
Yeah, like
So-
a million times.
It's hard to keep track.
Let me just check very quickly if we have any questions. Yeah, what's the sort of the spray paint on the? Yeah, it's elements of gameplay. I would say that it's to, as on some of the previous screenshots, there was a spray paint on the windows and.
Oh,
It is,
yeah. It's to help people recognize when there is an access to a vent that they can get into.
Mhm.
It's just general highlighting of areas you can go to. And it's made by Saphir because I did a version and it looked shit, so I asked him to do it.
And it now looks better.
So
Yeah, now
you've
it
been
looks better.
vandalizing the clinic.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are multiple signs. Like it's also for the ladder sometimes,
Yeah.
where people can climb from the outside. So we have those signs.
Yeah.
So
Thank you for your question as well. So, and when we talk about location, so let's first start with the research facility, and
You waiting for a drum roll? No?
yeah, no,
Dun,
I was
dun, dun.
looking for this actually. So this is the research facility. It's the second, I think, largest building on the map, and so it's not like it's I'm sorry, mumbling here. So it's one of the most important buildings strategically because it has 2 wings and it allows for to have a better position around the map. So you can hold different angles when you're on different wings, and then you can also go on the little roof in front of the building.
You can go on both roofs, yeah.
Yeah.
And you can see the mark there, yellow.
Yes. But you
Yes.
can't go on
yeah.
but you
Yeah,
can't
you
go on
can
the top
see
of
it.
the main roof, can you?
You can.
No, you
Okay.
can't
You
go
can,
on that
you
one. No, no.
No.
Not the middle one.
No, not the middle,
Yeah.
not the top of it.
Yeah,
no.
and
No.
so
OP.
yeah, this 2 rooftops provide quite a bit of visibility for if you want to see like the middle of the map, but however it makes you very vulnerable from rooftops of nearby buildings like the main hospital, and someone from there can really easily take you down. So and here's a bit more of the roofs.
There you go. Yes. More roof.
And,
More air conditioning units that have been retextured.
Yeah, so it has several floors in there, and it's quite complex. And even inside, there is a bit of verticality here. You can see that you can shoot from different floors to down, and yeah, the interiors are quite diverse, if I can say so. There is because it's a research facility. There is the lab, and but there's also a bit of bureaucracy going on with the
All labs need bureaucracy.
yeah.
They need meeting rooms.
Yes.
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 And
Everybody
and this
needs
is,
meeting rooms.
Yeah, this is how this research was looking earlier. So as you can see, that the rooftop wasn't accessible before, and I think there wasn't actually. The access was quite limited to one side, so you couldn't access this building from the front, and all the rooftop ladders were on the back of the building. But
Yeah.
nowadays it has way more entry points
Also-
and exit points.
Also, you can see on the original white box, you couldn't shoot from the roof. That was a huge debate for a long time. Because
Oh,
you
okay,
couldn't shoot
yeah.
from the roof. So there was no point going to the roof then if you can't shoot from the roof. So we had to figure something up for that so that you can go and snipe but without it being too powerful. I think eventually we ended up having some areas that are raised, some areas that you can snipe through. But obviously, you know, the angle can't be very low so that if somebody goes towards the building, then you lose him very quickly.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of like the landscape, and which prevents you from just sitting on a roof and shooting everybody else, as you can see in front of the of the building, there is the modern art, I can say,
Yes.
like these columns and the rocks and the trees, which not allow you to actually see a lot of the spa building, and even you can see only one portion of the main hospital, like just the main entry, but not a lot there either.
Yeah, and generally speaking, there is always like a bunch of covers in between. So not to make it too powerful.
Yeah, certainly. And actually, moving on to the building on the top right, which is the hospital, and this is the largest, mightiest building on the map.
Humongous.
Yeah,
The humongous hospital.
humongous hospital it is. Yes, as you can see, it has multiple stories, and they are all but they're
not all
Yeah.
accessible.
Yes.
Yes, they're not all accessible, and they're not all on the same level. So there's a right wing which is smaller than the big left wing as well, and there's also some scaffolding in front of it. Why is that there? Is it under renovation or?
Yeah, it's like a confinement sort of thing. Like when we're thinking about the backstory, that's why you have also trees wrapped up and shit like that. The idea was that maybe something happened and the facility's been shut down very, very, very recently. so that there's still it's still new. It's still like people just left and you arrive like a bit later, but there's not been that much time in between.
There's a few medical tents as well scattered around the map as well to feed into that.
It's like a COVID map or something.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, very relevant. Yeah, and yeah, as you can see, so the main hospital, it has also a number of entries. Like on the bottom left, there is stairs which go right up into the main part of the building, and then there's also entries on the right, and like the main entry, which is partially covered with the scaffolding there, and also if anybody actually scouting on the roof there, they have to be very careful because there are so many points that the people can flank you from, and so you cannot just rest there and enjoying your days under the sun.
Yes.
Yeah,
you can't do that.
it's quite a hard building to defend actually. There's like 6 or 7 entrances, I think, on the building.
But it's actually a bit more like in the early days, as you can see here, it was a bit different.
Yeah.
It was
So
beautiful.
It levitated.
it levitated.
A levitating
first of all.
building.
Yeah, and it had a bit more covered sniper positions, so it was in the same time limiting in terms of the amount of angles you can take, but
Yeah.
they were also more secure for the snipers because they were harder to
Yeah.
kill them while there.
Yeah.
So the stairs on the left were actually also exposed. Like on the current version, you can see that they are covered by from both sides by a wall, so they're like inside the building. But before, there used to be quite open, so you can easily see when somebody is going towards the
Yep.
roof and inside the building. Excellent. And then some of the interiors of the building. So it has, as I said, it has many floors, and some floors are quite open. So there you can see that you can shoot from the second floor to the first one in the reception area. And then there are also longer corridors. Well, they're quite narrow, but they do allow for some angle.
I mean, this is a very good example. Like, if you see the corridor, there are 3 different lights: blue, green, and red color tone. So it can help player to easily navigate through the building.
Oh, that's actually an excellent point. Yeah. So as Safir said, that we have the color coordination here.
Yes.
Because it's a
Yes,
big building.
Every wing has its color, so that you know where you are, which is quite important because it's a complex indoor.
It's a good point. Yeah, I see here there's light blue and the green and the more red here as well and then there is the base.
Oh, Anatoly
floor.
is saying on the chat there is 8 entrances actually to the building.
Oh, thank you, Anatoly. So yeah, there is.
It's good to have our fellow environment artist feeding us facts from the sidelines.
We have almost
Hiding
entire
under
arc,
the nickname.
And is there like a base floor as well in the main hospital? Like, because it says -1, so assumably.
Yeah.
So we
can
had
go
we
low.
had initially every building had like a underground level connected by a bunch of tunnels and stuff, but it was just too complex and not 100% necessary since you had quite plenty of options already with the ground level, so we kind of nuked all of those. I think the research is the only one that's connected with an underground tunnel.
Yes.
The other
Yeah.
ones
Yeah,
don't have
that's
it
the only
anymore.
one.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So it's kind of interesting that like all 3 maps have some sort of underground going on. So on New York it's quite vast tunnels that goes through the sewers and connects both like different sides of the map. And then in Warmstadt there is a small
Yeah, there is a
Like
couple, but it's just on like one side of the map.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. So now let's talk about SPA, or the Health Span Institute.
Or
As
relax unit.
Or the relax unit.
Relax
Relax
was,
unit.
was its working title.
yeah. Yeah. So yeah, this building is it's what? It's located almost in the middle of the map, and it's separates the exhibition from the admin buildings.
Yes, and then you've also got the cabins that exist behind it,
Yeah.
as behind it as well.
Here,
So on
you
one
can see it.
side you've got a giant staircase which runs up to the rooftop cafe restaurant area. You've got a lower level which has a big ginormous swimming pool, and then you've got a middle level which has a big entrance into it as well, and then I think a couple of flights of stairs running down the centre of the building which interconnect all three levels.
Yeah, and there is, as you can see here, so this side of the building is very open, so it allows you to, like, you get an angle with your, if you're a sniper, but also you are quite open there, and then
Yeah.
the bit on the left you can see that there is a bit of the roof as well, and
Yep.
it's also accessible
Yep.
for.
This building also changed quite a lot since this white box is staged, because we closed one roof on the right because it's becoming OP position for
Yeah, because
players.
it has like a central location, so
Yeah.
it was just too strong. And the
Yeah.
staircase has seen many injured playtesters.
And
and angry.
angry playtesters as well.
Maybe sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think because
So-
that's also the first building that we playtested.
Yeah.
Mm,
Yes, it's-
nice.
So,
Yeah, so yeah, in the earlier version it looks much simpler than it actually is right now, and
Yes.
Why does it say intensive relax?
it's for
Relaxing
very
is not
intense
enough.
relaxation.
Yeah, it's very intense.
Yeah,
And
and
and the left rooftop was not accessible before, and that becomes very OP position
Yeah.
at the time when we are testing. So we need to make, first we tried ladder, then when we put the stairs, because ladder is also very OP at that time.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this building also had the underground tunnels, which were now
Yeah.
demolished.
Yes.
Yes. They've been nuked.
Are they actually still on the map, but just blocked away, or?
No, they're deleted.
Oh.
We
They're
removed
all
it totally.
deleted. They've been
Shame.
removed. They end up, if they're underground there, and if they still exist in game, they're just a unnecessary performance hit.
There was a special task for it to remove.
Yeah, I think I got delegated that task.
Yeah, so you're part of the demolition crew.
That's right. That's right. The wrecking
Yeah.
crew.
Yeah, and so this is one of the roofs
Yeah.
of the. It's very relaxing, actually, I must say.
I feel like I'm on holiday just looking at it.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then there is the restaurant as well, which probably serves all your favorite foods.
Yep. That's
But you
right.
can't have because you're on healthcare.
But you're rich, right? So you can go for liposuction or whatever, and go get operated on at the general hospital, and then come back to the intensive relax unit and start indulging yourself all over again.
Yes.
It sounded very personal and very disturbing. Yeah, so as you can see that there is, from the roof you can see the exhibition building, two entries, I believe. So the main entry of the building and then the one on the side. But yeah, you cannot really see much of the hospital or
Or the admin.
The
yeah.
Yeah, that side of the hospital is almost like a blind side. There's a couple windows, but that's not much.
Yeah, and here are some of the shots from the interior. So it's a multiple-story building as well. But this,
With the
yeah.
Yes,
with
go
the
on.
deadly stare.
Yes.
Why is that so?
I think the first time we played, everybody was just getting killed on that stair. We
Yes.
had like a heat map that was basically the stair.
Stairway to Heaven.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
Bad rock and roll reference.
There was an industrial murdering on that stair.
Yeah, but then another big part of the of this building is on the lower level of the spa, and it's the pool area, and it is open.
Yes.
So it's like
It's a big open space which has one large swimming pool, and then I think 3 smaller swimming pools located behind the large pool, and then there are a couple of spa rooms and whatnot
and
that are like.
can you go into the water and stuff?
Yes, you can go into the water.
Is it deep?
It's not very deep.
No, no. If it was too deep, it wouldn't be intensively relaxing, right?
Yes.
The water
that's a
is
good
terrifying.
point.
Yeah, and casually moving on to the exhibition, or also Eternal Institute, also known
God.
as. I have a note here.
The Magic
the,
House.
The Magic
Yes,
House.
the
Magic
Magic
House.
House. That's right.
temple and the magic
That's right.
Yeah, so this building is interesting. So it's quite blocky, I would say, and but it's also very like clandestine almost. So it's kind of hidden among the rocks, and it doesn't have many windows and open. Like for example, the spa had a huge glass window across all the 3 floors, but unlike that one, this building is quite closed.
Yeah. It's a lower floor, and then I think there's maybe a mezzanine, or might be a basement, ground floor,
Yeah.
and then a mezzanine that sits in there as well.
Yeah, there you can see that there's on this side there's 3 entries. So one is like a drive-in on the left, and then a main entrance on the right, and then
Yes.
a small door to the 2nd floors, which is accessible from the back of the building. And it also
The
has
building is symmetrical, so it's the same the other side.
yeah, and then it has a bridge on the back as well.
That you can't go
And
to.
Yes, I was going to say yes. The bridge that's inaccessible.
yeah, but we somehow got there and took
Yes.
this picture. So I don't know what you're looking
How
at.
yeah.
did you get there?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's going on there.
How dare you?
Yes.
Yeah. So this is this symmetrical part of the building with the side entry.
Yes. That was a Zen garden you designed, wasn't it, Sophia?
Yes.
Yeah. It's very calming. I would
Yes.
say. Very
Well,
nice.
It's intensively relaxing.
Yes.
But that's not the purpose of this building, which I actually don't know what it is. Like, it's
It's
eternal
intense.
life. Yeah, and then inside the building there is a lobby which has open plan, as we
Yes.
say in the real estate industry.
Wow.
Yeah, so you can watch the like 3 different entries when you are on the balcony, or like which goes around the 2nd floor.
Yes.
So you can see the main entrance and then one of the side entries. And yeah, so here's some of the interior photos. Unfortunately, we don't have a white box picture of this because it has been changed so many times that it's just lost in the shuffle somewhere.
Yeah.
Lost to time.
Yep.
This is one of the building that has changed a lot.
Yeah,
Since
but
this white
also
box.
this building has a rooftop. It's quite small, and you cannot really see much when you are on it. You cannot see any other buildings, so it's like sort of a room essentially.
Yes.
But some of the gameplay objectives are located on those rooftops, for example, and yeah, it's like you can hide in there, for example, and it's also like the whole building is very close range combat focused.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
if you're carrying that sniper, you might want to switch to your side for this one. Then moving on to another important building, which is the administration.
Yes.
So this building is located on the top left side of the map. It has a parking lot and then this sky bridge that goes closer to the spa, which has this gallery of awards and rewards that this hospital got. Maybe some Michelin stars or whatnot. I don't know what hospitals get for as their rewards. Yeah, so like this sky bridge is actually an interesting area because it provides you a good point of view onto some of the objectives, like on the a bit closer southern part of the map. So, but it also doesn't provide you with much cover. So people who are camping on the top of the spa building will be able to spot you as well from here, and then people on the parking lot or coming to the administrative building will see you as well. And then also people from the cabins, of course, they're up there on the north. But this building has a longer corridors, and it's good for a mid-range combat, I would say. But it also has a limited number of windows opening, so it doesn't allow you to camp there that well.
Yeah, and the roof is not accessible. It's not a very good building for camping, except on the sky bridge, maybe.
Yeah, for certain. And I guess it hasn't used to be so.
Yes, it has changed.
Yes.
Yeah. On the original plan, you can see there were more floors on the building, and it had actual open rooftops.
Yeah, yeah. We just decided that for the sake of production and gameplay, it was not really useful, the top floor. And it would also be much more work for us, and visually it would look more like an admin building if it was a bit more flat and rational. So just flatten the whole stuff.
Yeah. And so the rooftop was limited, and I have here a note from Tony that he wanted to mention that the idea was to limit the rooftops on the northern side of the map in the contrast to the building on the southern map. So, and they would have more contrast, so more close quarters and mid-range combat would happen in the northern part, and then the southern buildings would have more accessible rooftops. And it also, having this rooftop accessible made it very difficult for people who need to storm this building to access it, because the surrounding area is quite open with the parking lot and the sky bridge, so it is very hard to attack it if you have to. That's why it was closed. But speaking of interiors, it has, as we say, the sky bridge, then this reception with a bit of maintenance floors and areas, and as you can see, it is quite limiting space, so it's focused on the close quarter, more or less. And that's it about the locations of the clinic, actually. And so we will now take some questions from the chat, and tell us what you think. This map looks huge, and you guys really have talent in map creation. I think like some...
Sorry, can you repeat the question, please?
It was not a question, but people are admiring the size and complexity of the map. So you've done a good job with it.
It's not about the size.
Yeah. Let me see. The New York could use some of that spray paint as well.
There's a job for you down the track.
Yeah, you're gonna do that next week.
Oh no.
Yeah. Also, people are asking about the helipad. So on the screenshot here, you can see the helipad, and if that is an accessible area. So we can say that it is, and it's used as an extraction point in some of the flows, and so. It is indeed
used
accessible.
as like whatever you want to use it for, but it is an extraction point too. Yeah.
Yeah, and also the beach area. Like if we can show for 1 second the screenshot here. So yeah, and the beach area next to the helipad is also accessible, so you can go very close to the water. I don't think you can walk in the water, but
you can relax. You can relax intensively on the beach.
Yeah, yeah, you can intensely relax on the beach, and. Yeah.
But yeah, you cannot jump from the helipad. There is a railing
Yeah,
on that. So
because
you
you
have
shouldn't.
To, yeah, you should not.
We have special facilities for this. We have
Yes.
pools and everything.
Yes.
But if you do, you're next to a hospital, so it's okay.
Yeah, it should be just fine.
The helicopter can come in, pick you up, put you back on the landing
Yes.
pad.
Yeah.
Yes.
And actually, I do remember there was in the early playtest there was this bug when somebody could break through the wall and go just run across the water into the distance.
Yes, the joys of game development when
Yeah.
things are still broken and you're ironing out bugs.
Yeah, at one point though you would fall through the water and
You'd ha-
assumably drown.
Yeah, yeah, okay.
Okay. I love the blend of the colors setting the mood. So yeah, that's actually was one of the pointers that I think Scott you mentioned that how the colors are very milder to fit into the environment and to use more natural colors for the architecture.
Yes, that's courtesy of art direction.
Mm.
So yes, that decision was...
Oh, there's a question about the plastic covers on the tree, I think.
Oh yes. Let me see if I can pull that up. Just a sec. It's next to the main hospital. There are trees, and they do indeed have
Yes.
plastic covers,
And it shall remain.
and they shall remain.
The idea with the plastic covers was that there is this confinement stuff, and we needed also a way to control the line of sight with those trees, because it's tricky with trees. We've identified a lot of problems and frustrations coming from people that would shoot a sniper bullet through 2 leaves from 100 meters, stuff like that. This area was particularly sensitive, so we decided to have those wrapped up so that it would provide more of a cover, like a simpler cover that you can't actually shoot through, and that would fit with the theme as well. So those will stay, yes.
Yeah, and the comment is that the bulletproof plastic is quite expensive, so we're not gonna get rid of it. So
No, it's also
gotta-
that it's if your bullet goes through a tarp, then it goes through a tree, through a tarp again, then the trajectory is probably quite different from when it entered.
there is
So yes, they are
science.
blocking the
Yes.
bullets.
It's just magical bulletproof
Yep.
covers.
Bulletproof.
Yeah, and then people are commenting that they would like to book the exhibition center for their cult meetings.
Yes,
I mean,
you
it does
should,
put
you
up
should.
this vibe of
That's
that somebody will be on the stage,
Yes.
lowering for the
Yes.
intense relaxation.
Yes.
Everybody should submit
Yep.
to. And
It's a podium for a cult leader.
There is a
That's-
bit of a mystery element to what they do in this particular building, yes.
I mean, do we know what they do in this particular building?
No, well, I mean, we have ideas, but we didn't want to really come across as, this is it, whatever. It's just there.
Okay. Okay. Let me see. So, guys on the stream, just ask you questions. Did the map change its size? Maybe comparing to the tests before, or
no.
has there been any of the paths maybe closed or opened, or like anything on the exterior of the map changed?
I guess no.
Okay.
No.
couple of levels have been deleted though.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, like some
So-
stuff.
some stuff has been closed off as well that
Mm.
that would have been open at one particular point.
Okay.
But that was mostly roofs, though, right?
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
the actual top-down size was always like that.
Yes.
It's kind of like the New York map in terms of square meters.
Okay.
Yep.
I see. And is the playable areas are similar size as well? Because I mean, probably is. I don't know what I'm talking about. Actually,
Yeah, it'd be similar, but it's a different sort of gameplay
Yeah.
experience to Old New York, in the sense that You know, the idea is that you can move around outside a lot more freely than you can with old New York, and then you enter interior areas, and the gameplay speed
the
slows
difference
down.
with New York also is that New York has some of the buildings are on the border of the map, so you cannot go around them. But in case of Clinic, you can go around like all of the buildings actually. So there's nothing that's on the edge of the map.
Only one building is admin that you cannot go around.
Oh, okay.
The rest of
Well,
them-
only one.
Yep.
only one building.
No, there is a guy on the Discord that says that he came up late and he hasn't seen many screenshots.
Well, we'll have a VOD of this stream, so then you can check through those. And I would say we would publish some of them closer to the release of the map, and then we'll be sharing some of them as well. Don't worry about it. You will get to see the clinic. We will make sure of that. Anyway, let's see if there's any other questions. Oh, people are just asking that because, in their opinion, that Farmstadt seems to be a more optimal size for the map compared to its of New York, but like for 9 to 5 gameplay, and that's why they were wondering if we went to bigger or and why.
Oh, you mean in terms of like the size of the map compared to Farmstadt, right?
Yeah.
Like initially we made New York so that it has a higher replayability value and higher potential for like approaching points and going around, moving around the map. And then we wanted to try if it would work with something smaller, and that's why we made Farmstadt. And then we wanted to do another big map again, and that's why we have the clinic.
Yeah, but yeah, I guess we can mention that in case of
it depends on your preference. Like the Farmstadt is much more action packed, so if it's what you're looking for, then it's probably better for you. Yes.
Yeah, but also a lot depends on the game flow and the game mode. Like, because usually the objectives are not too far apart, so you wouldn't need to run across like the entire map all the time or anything. So it's all planned out in that way that it would make sense, and you wouldn't need to run aimlessly around the entire map all the time. So
I would say that Farmstadt is a bit more forgiving, because you can always relocate, stuff like that. New York, you need to know the map a little bit better, you need to play a little bit more so that you can make the good calls, because of course if you go somewhere and something's happening somewhere else, then it takes longer. That was the point also.
Yep, absolutely. There's a question if is Clinic get in the game in May? So yeah, we announced our roadmap a bit a while back, and we mentioned that in May we would have a bit of a larger update, and then the Clinic would be available then. Cannot yet say exactly the dates or anything like that, but we are aiming for May. Yes, thank you for your question. Let me just look a bit more. We can probably take a couple more questions and then we can wrap it up, guys. It's not aimless running if I call it flanking. Yeah.
There you go.
That is certainly true.
No, it's like the good old one in Dota. It's not feeding, it's creating space.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. I like that. Yeah, guys, let's keep the questions more focused about the map. And I know there is some stuff about the armors and stuff like that. So, but unfortunately, we're not equipped to answer them today.
Well, there's a question about heat maps.
Oh yes. Do you get stats on where people die on each map for testing?
Of course.
Yeah, of course.
There you go. There's your answer.
Yeah, we collect a lot of data. We get a lot of data.
If you think about it, it's not that that complicated, right? Like in a match, people go to places, then they die, so it gets recorded, and heat maps are actually really useful for testing and to see if there is an actual balance problem, or if there is a spot where everybody dies, then it's probably not so good, or it needs to be changed. Maybe a cover needs to be added, stuff like that. For instance, when we were testing the old New York back in the days, and also like what we think is a dangerous area or is unbalanced as developers might not actually be the case when people play for real. For instance, in the old New York back in the days, I thought that we needed to have much more covers on the streets because it was too dangerous, but actually heat maps have shown that people don't die much on the streets, and you can see where people go, and it's quite faded on the street because obviously people cross it quite fast. So yes, we do get, we know where you die, bro.
Thank you, Martin.
That's
That's
great.
excellent answer. Yeah, actually, also during some of the like alpha and beta tests, we have been sharing the heat maps for different flows and game modes to show where you die, bro. And we might do it again if there's a demand or if there's interest in that.
Every game has heat maps. Like we know how long you lived, what gun you had. Like every game does that because it's really useful to see maybe this gun is OP because it shows that this and this and this, it kills people that fast, or maybe a lot of people die here, so we should tweak that area. It's something that's very useful for us and something that's very common as well.
Yeah, a comment from the viewer asking about heat maps is the joke's on you, I die everywhere. So.
I die everywhere too.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's the thing also, like I can check the data and see where I die all the time. It's very good for checking like sniper positions, if sniper are strong but they always die, stuff like that.
Yeah, so yeah, that data helps always a lot to balance the map and to adjust the layout of the buildings and add covers and close everything. Will you share the heat maps? We can share some of it. Yeah.
We could.
You can also, if you are on our Discord, you can check maybe some older posts and you can see some of them. But yeah, they look kind of cool, but we need to. They're useful when you share about like a particular flow, for example. Then it's more useful, I would say.
The windows visibility.
Yeah.
That
so
is very tricky.
Yeah. The question is, are there plans on making windows on low, high quality similar in visibility? In the past, we've seen windows on low quality are much easier to look through.
Yeah, of course, but that's because they don't have reflections. They probably have less dirt and stuff like that, so or it's less visible. Yeah, it's very hard.
But,
do you know, like people
yeah,
playing PUBG with like minimum graphic settings so that you have shitty looking trees and no grass, so you can see people laying on the ground, stuff like that. It's always super hard because there is a big optimization path to be done, and you can't have it perfect for everybody.
But I guess we can say that this is something issue we're aware of. So, but we cannot say if it's gonna how it's gonna improve. But we're aware of it. Thank you for your question.
We'll put Scott on it.
Thank you, Martin. Sophia will be going ahead, and he'll be doing the new markings for old New York, and I'll be doing I'll be making sure that all the glass looks really nice on various quality settings.
Yeah, so have a vandal and a window cleaner. Or
that's right. That's right.
Is the objective placement similar to Old New York, where the 3 stages might focus on one location, like water processor? That is a great question. it's all the objective placement have a logic, but I cannot say that if every time they all would be in like in the same place. Probably not, and because there are different game modes, and but yeah, locations are not selected at random. There is a logic to it. Thank you for your question as well. Will clinic have lights that we can shut down?
I don't think so.
No.
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 Sorry.
Yeah, no. I
We
don't
use
think we don't have
baked-
it. Yeah.
We use bake lighting and a couple dynamic lights. If we had this feature, then we would need to make the map much smaller, or it will run quite poorly.
There'd
Yeah.
also be the issue of balance as well.
Oh
it
yeah,
would
Yeah, which would be it'd be a real nightmare to balance something like that, because as soon as you can someone can shut off lights, it means there's the potential that one player won't be seen and another player may be, and yeah, there's
Yeah, that is.
just creates these cascading issues that become difficult to iron out and make nice.
That
It's
is a
the
very
kind of
valid
question
point.
where
Yeah.
you don't know exactly all the implication, but you just kind of start to see all the possible
Yeah,
shit
the
that you're gonna go through,
possible.
and you're like, nah.
Yeah, sorry.
That is true. I don't seem to have any more questions at this particular moment in the chat, so I would say we can wrap it up. If there's anything else, guys, you would like to mention about the new map or about anything,
try
really?
it.
How's it going?
Try it.
Yeah, no. Well, thanks for tuning in, and
Yeah.
we hope everyone. I guess I hope everyone enjoys playing the map.
Yeah, when it comes out.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, so yeah, we'll be releasing more information about the map as it is coming into the release, and then we will be maybe streaming it more and giving you more previews, like in terms of gameplay as well. So just make sure to follow us everywhere, and yeah, thank you guys for coming. Like we had here Scott, Zephyr, and Martin in the studio, and thank you everybody for tuning in, and have a great night and have a great life.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great life. May your life be the greatest.
Yes.
Yes.
Good night.
Good
Thank you very much. Good night.
Bye bye.
Blessings, good sir. Bye.